discussed about the army, right? Mughal army. So the Mughal army include both infantry and
Cavalry.
cavalry. Both infantry and cavalry. You remember what is infantry and what is cavalry?
Yes, ma'am.
Infantry, foot
Just ma'am,
soldiers,
cavalry is
Yes,
the
foot
infantry,
back
foot
of the
soldiers,
soldiers,
horse.
trained soldiers on horse.
trained soldiers on horseback. Yes, that is a Mughal army. But after that, the Oudh and all, what they did is some other provinces. Children, please mute your audios because it's a great disturbance. Okay. So after that, the Oudh and all, they began to give training to the peasants to the army. Okay. They began to give training to they are giving training and recruiting peasants to the army. When the British came to India, they also followed the same method. They also recruited peasants into the army. And they called the Indian soldiers by a name called Sepoy. Have you heard about it? Sepoy. They called Indian soldiers as Sepoys. The British called Indian soldiers as Sepoys. So, at the time of Mughal, they have both infantry and cavalry, and they give more importance to the cavalry. But after the Mughal rules, so many princely states were there emerged, and the Oudh and all, what they did, they began to recruit peasants into the army. The same way that the British also, they also began to recruit peasants into the army, and they called Indian soldiers as Sepoy. Have you heard about the term Shipai?
Yes, ma'am.
Shipai.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, in Malayalam, Shipai, we say. That is Sepoy. In English, it is Sepoy. Sepoy means what?
Soldiers.
Soldier. A Sepoy means a soldier. So the Sepoy means soldier. Okay. But a difference is that the British, they maintain their more infantry than a cavalry because they need more infantry. Why? Why they give more importance to
They
infantry?
Because they were foot soldiers.
They need more foot soldiers. Why? Because they are
In the
fighting with.
war, in the front.
No, because they are fighting in so many places. They took these soldiers to so many places for war, like Afghan, Burma, Egypt, and all. So it is difficult for them to maintain this cavalry. Because if an animal is there, they want to maintain both the animal and the soldier. So it is difficult for them to maintain that cavalry forces. So the British gave more importance to which army? Infantry. Okay, and also the soldiers, they used matchlocks and uh, muskets. That is the two types of guns were used by them. That is muskets and this two pictures I will show you later. Okay, the picture of muskets and matchlocks. So these soldiers, they fought with the muskets and matchlocks, and they want to, why they maintained an infantry, though they gave more importance to infantry because these soldiers were uh, taken to the war front in many other places, not only in India, maybe in Egypt or Burma, Afghan, all these places, our soldiers will also be there in the war front. So they are fighting with these types of muskets and matchlocks. These are the different types of guns at the time. This is very important, okay, matchlock. But a problem is that initially they began to maintain a army in Indian style, but later they changed it into a European style. A European discipline style training they began to give to the army soldiers or the sepoys, and they forgot about the caste sentiments there because they began to treat all Indians as sepoys. But in India at that time, you know that the caste system is more prevailed, right? Upper caste, lower caste, caste difference is very much very strict at that time. The people are strictly following the caste manners and all at that time. But the British, they give training to them in a European manner, and they are not ready to give any concession to this caste feeling. So it created some problems among the soldiers, and finally it leads to a mutiny. That you will study in the coming chapter. Okay. Now, just to know about that, so why this revolt happened? The Indians called it as the first war of Indian independence, and the British called it as a merely Sepoy mutiny. So don't forget the name Sepoy. What is the meaning of Sepoy?
Soldiers.
Indian soldier.
Sepoy means
Soldier.
soldier. Sepoy.
Simply
Yes.
soldier or Indian soldier?
Indian soldiers. They call sepoys as the Indian soldiers. That is the Indian word Shipai. It's an Indian word Shipai. That means soldier. Okay. That's about their army. So company's army, they maintained an infantry more than a cavalry. What is the reason? Because they want to fight in so many places. So it is difficult for them to maintain the cavalry. And also their soldiers, they fought with gun, muskets and matchlocks, different types of guns. So it is difficult for them to maintain a cavalry forces. So they maintained more infantry, and also initially the soldiers were in the Indian culture and the Indian military culture, but later they were changed into, they gave training to them in the European style training, were given to this Indian soldiers. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. That's all about the chapter. So this mutiny we will study in the coming chapters. Good afternoon, Abhinav. So we can go a quick revision of this chapter. After that, if you have any doubt, you can ask to me in the, now itself you can ask, or after that you can ask to me in the next class. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So coming to the chapter, beginning of the chapter, what was the name of the chapter?
From trade to territory.
From trade
Trade.
to territory. Now you understood the meaning of the term. What is the content of the chapter? Why trade to territory?
Ma'am, British came to India to trade.
Yes, the same thing. The British came to India for trade, and after that what they did?
They conquered.
They began to conquer the Indian territories. That's the chapter. Now you understood the heading of the chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
They came to India for trade, but finally they become the rulers of India. That is from trade to territory. How they reached from trade to territory. So the chapter we begin with a great Mughal ruler. Who was the last powerful Mughal ruler?
Aurangzeb.
Aurangzeb. Yes. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire began to decline. So we discussed what are the reasons for the decline of Mughal Empire. What were the reasons for the decline of Mughal Empire? Forgot it? Anyone remembering? After the death of Aurangzeb, what happened?
Ma'am, many other governors started establishing their power.
Yes. Yes, the governors, they began to establish their own power over the territories. Then the Mughal Empire lost their control from the center. Right? And also the British is emerging as a political power. So each of the regional kingdoms were established at that time, and the Mughal Empire have no control over them. And the British also emerged at that time as an, it's also emerged as a political power at that time. All these leads to the collapse of Mughal Empire. So after the beginning, till Aurangzeb, Mughal Empire was very powerful. So children, don't be confused. Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal ruler, okay? He was not the last Mughal ruler. He was the last powerful Mughal ruler. After him also, Mughal dynasty was there, but the rulers are not so powerful. It declined due to many reasons, and the reasons are each of the governors or the zemindars, what they did, they began to assert their authority over the areas, and each of the new political new provinces came into being, and also the Delhi is not able to, from the center, it is too difficult to function as an effective administration. And at the same time, the British emerged as a political power. So all these leads to the collapse of Mughal Empire. So here you remember Aurangzeb and also the reasons for the decline of Mughal Empire. Don't forget what are the reasons for the decline of Mughal Empire. Yes, Krishna, any doubt? Krishnaveni,
Yes, ma'am.
any doubt, dear?
No, ma'am.
So, then we are going to discuss about the British company which came to India. What was the name of that company?
East India Company.
East India
East India
Company.
Company.
Yes. It's East India Company. When East India Company was formed?
Ma'am,
Six.
600.
60. Yes.
6.
Not 17, it is in 1600. Okay. The company was formed as a, and the company acquired a
Charter from
charter from whom?
Queen Elizabeth.
Charter from Queen Elizabeth, and as per that charter, only the company.
Could trade
Children,
with
please.
the
So the granted, the Queen Elizabeth I granted it the sole right to trade with the East.
East.
Yes. So that is the importance of East India Company. From Britain, only East India Company can trade with East. So it emerged as a mercantile company. What do you mean by a mercantile trading company? Mercantile. Mercantile company means they will buy the goods at a low price and they will sell it at a
high price.
Higher price.
yes. So it emerged as a mercantile company, and they came to East for trade. But when they came to East, when they came to India, here so many other powers are there, right? Which are they? The other trading companies. Which are the other trading companies in India at that time?
Portuguese.
Oh,
Other trading companies in India at that time. So from Britain only East India Company came. But from in Europe, so many other places are there. From there, so many trading companies are here to trade. And it includes
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Portuguese,
Arabs.
Dutch, for European powers, and
And French.
French. Okay. So the other trading companies include Portuguese, Dutch, and French. They are also here in India to trade. But all these companies, all of them, the 4 trading companies needed the same commodities. Right? Which are the commodities they needed?
Spices.
Clove,
Cloth,
clove, cinnamon,
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 cardamom. That means all of them need the same commodities. Which are the commodities?
Spices.
spices,
Cinnamon,
Spices include all the things, cloves, cardamom, pepper, and all the things. Then
clothes,
clothes.
Clothes.
Which clothes?
silk,
Silk and
Cotton.
cotton,
yes. So remember like that. First they need spices. Spices include cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, or pepper, and all the things. And the next is the fine quality silk and cotton.
cotton.
Okay. So they came here. The 4 trading companies need the same commodities like spices, then
Silk.
silk and
Silk.
Cotton.
Cotton.
cotton from India. So what happened to their profit?
It became less.
Their profit
Competition.
began to decrease. Their profit began to decrease because all of them want the same commodity and they all are selling the same product. They all want the same product. So they want to pay more money. There is a competition among them and it created some rivalry among them. As a part of their rivalry, what they did? What all things they did to each other?
And they
And they
sang.
sank
Ah,
each other's
yes.
ships.
They sank each other's ships.
Blocked routes.
They blocked the route with for the ships, which is going with the commodities, goods. Then,
Then
and also they began to construct.
fortification.
Settlements.
Yes, they began to construct fort. That is fortification. Okay, fortification. So what the rivalries among them and what all things they did each other, the rivals, they began to compete each other and they began to block each other's ships. Then they sank each other's ships and also they
Built a
constructed
fort.
forts to protect their commodities.
Commodities.
Okay, that is about the all the foreign. Why they did like that? Why the rivalry among all these British, French, Portuguese and Dutch? Because they all came to India for trade. Not only British, all of them came India for trade with spices, then silk and
Silk and
cotton. All of
cotton.
them need the same commodity. So if they are competing with each other, it affected their profit. So they become rival to each other. Everyone's aim is to get maximum profit. So it is not possible if too many companies are there. So they become rivals to each other. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then coming to British, they started their first factory in the bank of which river?
Hooghly.
Hooghly.
Hooghly, in the bank of river Hooghly. In which year?
1651.
1651. Hooghly is in which place?
West Bengal.
Bengal.
West Bengal.
West
Don't
Bengal.
forget it. Okay. So they started their first factory in the bank of river Hooghly in West Bengal.
1651.
And also when they started the factory, when the factory was established, they called their officials to come and settle near the factory. And they began to start fortification for protecting their warehouses. They began to start fortification. And after that, what the British did? They bribed the Mughal the Mughal officials. They bribed the Mughal officials and they got the Zamindari right of how many villages?
Ma'am, 3.
3 villages. They got the Zamindari right of 3 villages. And also they acquired Aurangzeb issued a
Farman.
farman. Very good. A farman. What do you mean by a farman? An order for the British.
Royal
What was
order.
that farman?
Royal order.
And to right trade.
Right to
Duty
trade,
free.
duty free.
Duty free.
I told you, Midun, don't read from the textbook. Whatever things you remember, you tell.
I don't have the text with me.
Don't look anywhere, okay?
Ma'am, I don't have the text.
No textbook?
No.
Okay then. Are you looking anywhere and telling the answer? Yes? Don't look anywhere. What do you remember, you tell. Okay, if it is wrong, it's okay. Just to recollect what all things we know. Not only to Midun, okay? Nobody will do like that. Because it's a revision. We are revising the chapter. Just listen here. So farman means it's a royal order. And what was that order? No need to pay
Thanks.
Tax.
tax. That means they have the right to trade.
Duty free. Duty
They
free.
can trade duty free. Okay. A famine was issued by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, and as per that order, they can trade duty free. And but what the company did? Did the company used it in a positive way?
No.
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 What they did? They misused it. That
They
means
misused
the
the power.
officials, yes, the officials who are doing the private trade, they also began to use this famine. They are also now not ready to pay
Tax.
taxes. So what happened to the revenue of Bengal?
They did not get increase.
Yes, the revenue of Bengal began to
Decrease.
decrease. So at that time, we mentioned that the Mughal Empire began to decline, and each of these provinces were emerging as their own independent provinces. Bengal also one such province, and there the Bengal was ruled by 3 powerful Nawabs. And the first one is, you remember that name?
Murshid.
Murshid Qali Khan.
Murshid Qali Khan.
Sirajudullah.
Siraj.
Before, in between them, one more person is there.
Ali.
Ali Varthi Khan.
Yes, Ali.
Ali Varthi Khan and
Sirajudullah.
Sirajuddaula.
Dawla.
Sirajuddaula. They are the 3 powerful Nawabs
Nawab.
of which place?
West Bengal.
Nawab of Bengal. That don't forget, okay? Nawab of Bengal. Okay. They become the Nawabs of Bengal. Murshid Ali Khan, Ali Varthi Khan and Sirajuddaula. So these 3 are very powerful rulers. They are very strong. They are not ready to give so much concession to the company. And they force the company to stop fortification and also from minting coins, and also force them to pay the revenue. But the company feel that these officials, the Nawabs are not, the steps taken by the Nawabs are not in favor of them. Because of that, their trade is not get flourished, it is ruined. So there is a clash between the Nawab and the company. From the beginning itself, after Ali Varthi Khan died, who became the next Nawab?
Sirajudullah.
Sirajuddaula. So after Ali Varthi Khan died, Sirajuddaula became the new Nawab. And he was also a very powerful ruler. But the British need a puppet ruler. The British need a puppet ruler. But Sirajuddaula was not a puppet ruler. He was a very strong and a powerful. He will take strong decision against the British. And what all things he asked to the company? He asked the company to stop fortification, pay revenue, and also don't interfere in the political affairs of the country. So what all things he said to the company? Stop fortification and don't interfere in the political affairs, and also pay taxes. Pay the taxes proper. But the company was not ready to do so. So a lot of negotiations went on. But after the failure of the negotiation, what Nawab did?
War.
He marched with
War.
30,000 soldiers. Okay. He marched with 30,000 soldiers to the company's office, factory, in which place? Qasim Bazaar. Qasim Bazaar. Okay. So after the negotiations failed, what Sirajuddaula did? With 30,000 soldiers, they marched to Qasim Bazaar and they captured the company's factory from there. Yes, they captured the company's factory from there and they locked the warehouses. Louder, dear.
Disarmed all Englishmen.
Disarmed all Englishmen. Midun, louder.
And blocked ships.
They blocked ships and they marched to Calcutta.
Kal-
From there, after the victory over there, they marched to Calcutta. But hearing this news, a person
British
came
king.
from
Yeah.
Madras. Who was that?
Robert Clive.
Robert
Clive.
Clive. Yes, Robert Clive. But after hearing this, Robert Clive Robert Clive. He came from Madras. And there is a war fought between Robert Clive and
Siraj.
Siraj-ud-Dawla.
Siraj-ud-Dawla.
Siraj
Dawla.
Dawla. And who defeated?
Siraj-ud-Dawla
Siraj-ud-Dawla.
defeated.
Siraj
No.
Dawla was defeated by Robert Clive.
Robert
Why?
Clive.
Ma'am, because
One of
one
his Nawab.
ruler did
Yes.
not
Mir Jafar.
One of his
Mir
Nawab,
Jafar.
Mir Jafar, he
Jafar.
didn't fought
Mir
the
Jafar.
war.
Battle.
Okay, one of his Nawab, Mir Jafar, he didn't fought the war. So, who was defeated? Siraj Dawla was defeated by the
Siraj-ud-Dawla was
Robert
defeated.
British East India Company, and this war is known as
Black
Battle of
Battle of
Plassey.
Plassey.
the famous Battle of Plassey in the year
1757.
1757. In 1757. Okay. So this is very important one. Battle of Plassey. It was fought between Robert Clive and
Siraj-ud-Dawla.
Dawla. Don't forget that. It is not only for your 8th standard. Okay.
Okay.
Don't forget this person's name and the year. The Battle of Plassey was fought between Siraj-ud-Dawla and
Robert
Clive
Clive.
in 1757.
57.
At which place?
Plassey.
Plassey. Plassey in West Bengal. But the Nawab was defeated because one of his commander, Mir Jafar, he didn't fought the war. Why he didn't fought?
Ma'am, he was
Ma'am, he
on
was
British side.
messenger.
Yes, he get a message from Robert Clive that, what was the message? Why? He was to the side of the British. Why? Because he get a promise. What was the promise?
Ma'am, he will be Nawab of Bengal.
He become the new Nawab. If
Nawab of
Siraj-ud-Dawla
Bengal.
was defeated, Mir Jafar become the new Nawab. So he didn't fought. Mir Jafar, sorry, Siraj-ud-Dawla was defeated and Mir Jafar become the new
Nawab.
Nawab. But they thought, what the British thought, okay, Mir Jafar. Now, Mir Jafar was a new Nawab. So the British thought he was a puppet ruler and he will do whatever the British need.
British one.
But what happened? After some
Mir
time,
Jafar did not agree as a
yes,
Did not agree.
he also questioned the British. So what they did, they deposed him and installed another ruler, that is
Select
Mir
another one.
Qasim.
Mir
Mir
Qasim.
Qasim.
Mir Qasim. Mir Jafar. After that, Mir.
Qasim.
Qasim.
So clear, children. Don't forget the three most important names for us: Siraj-ud-Dawla, Mir
Mir
Jafar,
Jafar and Mir
Qasim.
Qasim.
Mir Jafar. Mir Qasim.
Mir Qasim. Siraj-ud-Dawla,
Mir Jafar, Mir
Jafar
Qasim.
and
Mir Jafar, Mir Qasim.
Mir Jafar. Mir
So after
Qasim.
Siraj-ud-Dawla, Mir Jafar became the Nawab of Bengal, but he was also not ready to give. After sometimes he was also not ready to give so much concession to the company. He also questioned them, so they deposed him and installed Mir Qasim as the Nawab.
And new one.
So yes, and Mir Qasim also
Complete.
against them.
Complete.
Mir Qasim also fought against them. So the war was fought between
Mir Qasim and
Mir Qasim
Mir
and
Qasim and East
British,
British.
East India.
Complete.
and it is called as what?
Battle of Buxar.
Battle
Battle
of
of Buxar.
Buxar. It is called
1764.
1764.
Oh.
In the year 1764, the Battle of Buxar was fought between Mir Qasim and British. See, after this battle only, the British actually began to enter into the direct political affairs of the country. After Battle of Plassey also, they are not interested to interfere in the internal affairs, or that they are not ready to take the administration. The British is not ready to take over the administration of India after the Battle of Plassey. But why? Why they are not ready to take over the administration? What was their aim? Why they came to India?
Ma'am, to trade.
For trade, yes. Till that time, their aim is to trade and to
Right.
gain maximum profit from the trade. So till Battle of Plassey, after Battle of Plassey, they began to enter into the political sense, even though they are not ready to take over the administration. Clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
They fought, they were trying to interfere in the political affairs, but they are not ready to take over the administration of
Administration.
India. But after Battle of Buxar, the situation changed. Now they began to take the administration. After the Battle of Buxar, they got the Diwani right of Bengal. Now who is collecting the revenue from Bengal?
British East India
British.
Company.
British.
Yeah, the English East India Company. They got the right to collect Diwani. They got the Diwani right. That means now they can collect the revenue. They can use the revenue as per they wish. So they use the revenue in the way they need. It helped them to solve one of their problem they faced, that is the shortage of the importing goods. They want to import money from Britain. For exporting goods, they want to import money, gold and silver from Britain. But after the Battle of Buxar, now they are using the revenue from India for the purchasing of raw materials and also to maintain their army. So that's a difference in Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. Till Battle of Plassey, they are not ready to take over the administration over India. But after Battle of Buxar, they got the Diwani right, and now they are able to use their revenue of India for their army, to protect their army, and also for purchasing the raw materials. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. That is Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. And another term is Nawab. The difference between Nawab and Naboob. What is the difference? Naboob means what? Any difference between Naboobs or Nawab?
No, both are
Mean the
same.
Same,
English.
yes, Naboob or Nawab. Naboob is the English word of Nawab. That means
Nawab.
the people who are leading a luxurious life. So many of the officials from Britain, they came to India and they earned as much as they can. One among them was Robert Clive. You remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So they earned as much as they can and they lead a luxurious life there as a Nawab living in India. So they were called as Naboobs. Okay. Yes. So till this portion, you must read today itself. That is till page number 15.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Read the portion, and if you have any doubt, you can ask to me in the next class. Okay. All of you children, read proper. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.